Welcome back to the Generational Wealth YouTube channel where hopefully we can create generational wealth. Okay, in this video, I've seen some comments from subscribers and stuff saying that they want a portfolio deep dive, and that's basically what we're doing in this video. So, in this video, what I'm going to go through is that this software basically allows me to give you more insights into my portfolio. I think it'll be a way better way of explaining my portfolio. But I'm deep diving into basically every single stock that I bought in this seven-figure portfolio, as well as like why I bought it. I'll give you the conviction of like when I'm going to exit as well, and I'm going to show you my entry prices, and I'm going to show you and tell you when I'm going to sell it as well, and give you explanation rundown so that maybe you can see for yourself, or you can use these strategies and this type of thinking in your types of investing as well. Because if you know when to sell, when to buy, it's very simple. Like you can repeat the process for other stocks, right? You don't have to buy the same stocks as me. You can buy different stocks, but you can make money at the same time. All right. So I'm gonna do a deep dive. It's probably gonna be a long video. So hold up, wait a minute, and then let's start right here. Okay. So you can see that overall, generally the market is pretty much up. So everybody is basically like making money, right? Everybody is probably at an all-time high. My portfolio is not directly correlated to the S&P. Yeah, so that's the first thing. If you can see, like my portfolio is much more volatile than S&P. At the same time as well, it's like when the S&P is at its all-time high right now, right? All-time high. My portfolio is a bit down, right? So I'm a bit in a more risky and speculative stuff, and that is why it's not directly correlated all the time. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna explain that as well. So you can see it's just north of a million so far, and over these past 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so, it has been down a bit more than usual. So it doesn't feel good, but it's fine. We continue the process, and I believe in the companies. All right. So I'm going to show you first the holdings and the allocation of what I have. So FBTC, if you did not know, let me just introduce you to what this is. It's basically the Fidelity Index Fund for Bitcoin. Okay, so this is basically I'm buying Bitcoin as an index fund. Okay, I'm buying an equity, but they are investing. The entire fund is basically 100% invested into Bitcoin. So when the Bitcoin price moves up, moves down, I'm directly correlated to this. So if you're unaware, Bitcoin went from 124 to 109 recently, and that's why basically, the portfolio also went down because my largest position is right now is actually Bitcoin, right? The second one is HIMS. So HIMS is a telemedicine company. I'll go through in depth later on what this is basically, but HIMS is basically this website right here. They're a telemedicine company where they provide telemedicine services as well as they sell physical products in terms of drugs. So you can see smooth skin, anxiety, sex, etc., etc. All right. And then they have the biggest category, I believe the fastest growing category as well, is the lose weight category. All right. And then I have Hood. So Hood is basically a Robinhood. So Robinhood is this company right here, if you're unaware. It basically is a stock brokerage company. I'm pretty sure if you're in the US, you've heard of it already. And then Google and then Amazon, typical suspects right here. I have AMD, but a very small position. And basically everything below this is like non-existent. It's almost like it's just like play money to me in a sense. Yeah, Microsoft, and then I have Elf Beauty. So if you don't know what Elf Beauty is basically this cosmetics company right here, and they basically sell very cheap beauty products. And the reason why I like this is because I'm in the e-commerce space, so I kind of understand that beauty products in general, right? In whatever economy, this company is going to do well, right? And so they recently acquired Justin Bieber's wife's road business as well, and so they're growing. They're going to grow over time, especially because their value that they provide to the marketplace is very high, right? This is versus other brands like Estee Lauder, for example, which could be really expensive, for example. But this company right here, their pricing is very optimum for the younger generation, so the Gen Z market. And so I think they're like the number one, number two brand in the Gen Z market, and so that's why I just invested into this because I believe this is going to grow, and beauty is something that is not going to get disrupted by AI. So I'm not really worried about this specific investment right here. All right. Okay, so that's basically my holdings in percentage wise. So you can kind of do the math, right, of like $1 million basically, and then you can just do the math on what 30% is right here. Okay. So far, I have realized gains in the past, but this is my unrealized gains, I guess, for these holdings, and I have about $87,000 in cash right here as well. Yep. Okay. So just to show you the holdings as well, the holdings in terms of the cost basis. So Robinhood, for example, has been one of my fantastic stocks. I bought it at $23, and then now it's at 104 right here. And I don't believe I will ever sell this company until it hits about a 250 to $300 billion market cap. Right now, I believe is at about 100 billion market cap. Let me just check for you guys. Yeah, I believe it's at about a 90 billion or $100 billion market cap. So I do believe that this company will still continue growing because I like the CEO a lot. Okay, yeah, so 92 billion right here. Um, if I just show you the financials, okay, the financials are just fantastic. Like every single quarter, for example, they have been growing revenue very, very consistently, and the CEO has been executing extremely well. He has also been very friendly to investors. So he always go on CNBC. He'll talk about his business. He'll talk about his company, and I like the kind of CEO where it's like they are very responsible for the shareholder, and they want people to invest in that company, and that's why you also can see in the revenue they're doing well on a company basis, but they also do well on the PR front, right? They're able to sell the company, and so investors are able to increase the value of the company over time, right? So this stock right here, I do believe that this can become a $300 billion company, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. So there's actually no reason for me to sell unless I need the cash urgently. So that's basically how I think about this specific investment right here. All right. So the first one that I've covered so far, first one is Robinhood. So that's it for you guys. Yeah, Robinhood right there. All right. So that's when I'm gonna sell 250 billion, 300 billion, and stuff. Or if I need cash. Okay, my smaller positions, I'm not going to talk about it so much. So Microsoft and Amazon, you guys like obviously understand what's happening. Microsoft, the AI trade, Amazon, the AI trade, both of them are going to do well, fantastic, regardless of the situation, and they're going to bring the entire market up, basically, right? But Microsoft, for example, I believe is at a $3 trillion, $3 trillion market cap right now. I do believe it's going to get to 5 billion sooner or later, right? It's going to get to 5 billion. But will it change my life? Yeah, it probably won't change my life. Okay. So let me just try this. Yeah, so that's how I think of things. It's like this channel is basically generational wealth, right? So I'm supposed to get to 10 million, and Microsoft, if I just invest in Microsoft alone, yeah, it's probably not going to get to yeah. Okay, the app has an issue, but it's fine. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Amazon, I won't talk about it. All right. This crypto one, I'll talk about it last. Okay. So AMD right here, AMD, I've had about $9,000 so far in this account, and so you can see it's a very, very small position. It's basically AMD is almost 1% of my portfolio, so I don't really think about it. How I just think about it is that the Nvidia trade, for example, the Nvidia shares are going to go up regardless of what happens because of semiconductor, AI, and stuff like that. So I just want to have some skin in the game, for example, just to have some upside right here. And I just basically bought some AMD, but very, very small shares and stuff like that. All right. Elf Beauty is kind of similar situation where I've only I put in 600 and basically it went to 1,000. Basically, it went up 40%. You can see right here. Yeah, so it won't change my life basically, but it's just fun to have some other things as well. All right. Okay, so I've covered Robinhood, have covered Microsoft, have covered AMD, have covered Amazon. You guys understand Elf Beauty. Okay, the next one I'm going to go through is Bitcoin, and then Google, and then HIMS. So Bitcoin right here, Bitcoin is not a very straightforward investment in the sense that I don't see it as like a super long term investment. I see it as a way to flip. Okay, so hopefully this app, okay, they do not have FBTC. Yeah, but basically Bitcoin, how I see it is that there is a bear market and then there is a bull market, right? So in the bull market, which we are technically in now, every 4 years they have some sort of cycle. Okay, I did not know this only probably only about a year or so. Then I really understood Bitcoin and stuff, and I went to do research and stuff like that. But basically, every 4 years there is a cycle that happens where it goes up and then it goes down. It goes up and then it goes down. Okay, and so what I'm investing in is basically by the end of this cycle or by the end of 2025 December or November, this thing should basically peak. And when it peaks or when it's close to peaking, for example, I'm going to sell out completely out of my position right here. I know this is not really investing; it's more like trading. But I've held it for almost like a year plus already. Okay, so I've held Bitcoin since I bought it at about okay. It doesn't really show the Bitcoin price of the average cost because the index is priced a bit differently. But I think my average cost is about 102,000 Bitcoin per Bitcoin basically. So anything above of that is basically like yeah, it's just profit to me, right? So at the beginning of the year, I thought that Bitcoin was going to 200K per coin. It looks like it's probably not going to be doing that anytime soon. But even if it goes to 130 or like 150K per coin, for example, I do believe that I'm going to sell this. And so is going to be maybe 100k, 150k profit or so, because right now it's about a 370,000 position, for example. So if I just make 100k profit right there, it's like, yeah, it's basically someone's salary for a year, right? But yeah, I don't see that as bad as well. For example, if it actually increases by to 30%. All right, so this is the position from here. And when I sell this, for example, I'm not going to go back into Bitcoin for a while because there's going to be a bear market, and then I'm going to have to deploy this 300k, for example, somewhere else. I could probably just buy a simple S&P and stuff like that or stuff, but yeah, we'll just see what happens when that happens. All right, Google, the other stock right here. So Google is a bit different from Microsoft and the others because I feel that Google has a bit more risk versus the other AI stocks, if that makes sense. Okay, if you're not aware, Google is basically there's a very high risk that this business could get disrupted, for example. And the reason why it could get disrupted is because like the search business and the chat GPT business, for example, they kind of overlap, like they're kind of in the search category. So people are very afraid that this company right here, their search revenues, which make up about 90% of their business, is going to get taken aback, or they're going to have reduction in their revenue. But if you can see, for example, like they've been very, very consistent over the years, where every single quarter they somehow manage to increase their revenue over time, right? So they improve on the cloud business, they improve on the AI business. They also build out other categories, like they have a Waymo category, and then they have a yeah, they have like YouTube subscriptions and stuff like that, right? So they don't only do ads, they start monetizing in different ways. And when you have attention, basically you're able to very, very easily make money because you basically put a barrier of entry there, and then you charge a fee or whatever it is, right? So Google is the type of company where it's like, okay, if my Bitcoin money basically is sold out, I can basically buy Google and not worry about it, in a sense. Yep. I have no worries about putting any amount of money in Google, basically. Yeah, it's not going to change your life, but like it's the type of investment where it's like, hey, you just park it there and you just like kind of forget it. Yeah. All right. So Google here, I will probably never sell because like the amount I have in it is so little, and like yeah, I just really like the business, so like I just like the upside as well. All right. Okay. HIMS. This is probably one of the three or one of the two stocks that will hopefully really change my life. And yeah, will really help us get to the goal of 10 million, basically. All right. So this HIMS right here, you can see I bought it at a $5.60. Right now it's sitting at a $42 market, $42. So I've almost 10x on this position, by the way. And at one point in time, I can just tell you guys, I was up about the total value was about 500k, right? So it was basically the first time in my life where it's like I had the realization that holy shit, like investing can change your life, can really, really change your life. And if you think about it, right, I only bought like one thing. I bought one stock and it changed my life. So I was just thinking like if I could technically repeat these types of buys, where it's like you do tremendous amount of research for the company, you really, really understand their business model, and you put a highly concentrated conviction bet on a specific play, right? Those are the types of companies that I basically want to buy. I kind of treat it like venture capital, right? In VC, where it's like you kind of bet on a few companies. A few companies are going to fail, but majority of them, if they're actually already working, they already are producing revenue, you should be able to make money from them, right? Okay, so I've covered Google, I've covered FBTC, I'm now talking about HIMS. All right. And so you might be asking where am I going to exit this position? Okay, so this position right here is an important position for me because it like for majority of the time actually it was like one of the biggest. It was basically my biggest holding. It was like almost 40% of my entire net worth. And some people, like, I've also seen comments, for example, that people said like, hey, should you be de-risking yourself? Should you not put so much of your money, or you should cash out, basically you should basically like take some profits and stuff like that. For me, for example, I kind of made that mistake. Okay, and I can tell you the story, and you don't have to believe me, but it's basically in all my transaction histories and stuff. But basically, I bought Palantir at I was basically averaging down. Okay, I bought it at something like $14, and then now it's 153. Okay, I bought it at $14. It went down to like $11. Sorry, it went down to like $8, and I basically bought some more, and then it basically went to $11. So my average cost was about $11, and this was in 2022. So let me stretch back for you guys so you can kind of see the story, right? So yeah, I probably bought it somewhere here about 2022 here. So it was going down. Okay, so it was going down, and I bought more, and then I basically ran out of cash. Okay, and it dipped so low, it like almost negative 40%. And after the negative 40%, after you wait like a year or so, it really increased. The value of my stocks basically really increased. And then when it hit $60, so when it hit $60 here, right, the market cap was about $160 billion market cap. And then I was just looking at the PE ratio. In the past, it was like crazy, and now it's still crazy. But yeah, I was just thinking like this is too overpriced, and I don't want to lose my money. So it was the first time where one of my investments like really made me money, and I was so scared to lose it, and so I sold it. Okay, this is one thing I've learned so far in the equity markets. Not crypto, okay? Because crypto you can get rug pulled, but in the equity markets, if you have a winner, you need to ride with that winner. Okay, you need to just continue riding the wave. Like nowadays, I don't believe in taking profits too early. I believe that as long as the company and the story is just still intact, for example, right, I am going to continue holding this. I'm going to continue holding this, and that's why to this day, for example, I still hold hims. I still hold hims because I can tell you what my exit position is, and yeah, what is the price that I'm actually willing to let go this company. Okay, so I don't want to make the same mistake here because I could have transformed, I think, $44,000 into, I don't know, was it like $600,000, something crazy like that, right? Yeah, so I don't want to make the same I don't want to make the same mistake right here. Yeah, you can just see this, right? When good companies work, they just really work, and over time they just get better and better over time, right? So I'm really trying to invest for the long term. All right. Yep. Sorry. Just now, as I was saying, okay, my position HIMS, right? So right now, if you can see, my position is about 333 338, right? At one point in time, this was 500k. Okay. So let me just show you the stock price. Bar chart, area chart. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second. This is the live chart. Yeah. So at one point in time, for example, the stock was at a high of about 60. You can see this. So at several points in time, sorry, the stock actually basically went up to the moon. It went to $66, and my portfolio was basically like, yeah, really big, and the position size was also very, very big. This position alone was about $500,000, right? And then it was sitting about, I think, 12 to maybe $13 billion market cap, right? Right now it's obviously lower, and the reason why is because like the fat loss drug, they had some issues with manufacturing it, and then they have an issue with a partnership with some Novo Nordisk, which is basically a pharmaceutical company, etc., etc. Right? Yeah. And right now you can see it's down, right? So, but when stuff is down, right, I'm not gonna give up. Right? I'm not gonna give up all these gains that I've waited so long for. Basically, I do believe that in the next 2 years, things will improve. As you can see, things will always improve, and the stock price is just a reflection of the business, right? So I always have to tell myself this story right here. What I believe will happen, right? Okay, I can tell you what my exit price will be. I do believe that this company right here, it will go from a $42 to $100, for example. When it actually hits $100, right? I am able to basically, this position for me will be $1 million in itself. So one stock will be $1 million. Okay, at that point in time, I may sell some of it, and I may keep some of it as well, right? But however, if it's really growing very, very fast, then there's no point for me to sell at the same time. Okay. Okay, let me just refresh this app for you guys. My bad. Yep. So how I see it is that the company HIMS, right? Right now, the amount of revenue they are doing is, okay, this is a quarterly basis. On an annual basis, for example, they're doing about 1.4, yeah, $1.4 billion in revenue, for example, right? If they are able to basically get to $3 billion in revenue, right? This market cap right here, sorry, the market cap right here will basically 3x as well. Yeah, this will get to like 20 billion, 25 billion and stuff, and that will basically really, really change. Yeah, yeah, that will really change things for everyone, right? So that's basically when I'm gonna exit that position right there. Yeah. Okay. So if, oh yeah, sorry, the last stock that I will talk about. This is a bit of a, how do I say this? It's a bit of a enigma stock where, okay, 3350 is a stock that is not listed on the US exchanges, and that's why it's a number right here. It's basically a Japanese company, and they basically hold a bunch of Bitcoin, and then they are a Bitcoin treasury company. I believe I've talked about it in my previous video, right? I bought it at a not a very good price, by the way. My average cost is about 1243, and at this point in time, it is down. Okay, I can be upfront with you. I'm down about 35%. Okay, it is not. It wasn't a really great entry, So even for me, for example, you can see I do make mistakes, by the way. So like my average price is about 1243, which is about here, over here, right? It's down now about to about 800 or so. But I do believe in the long term, for example, the company's fundamentals are going to improve over time. You can see the amount of Bitcoin that they're stacking, for example, is increasing over time. It will only increase over time. Okay, and so the more Bitcoin that they stack, the more valuable their company is. They have about 2.19 billion in Bitcoin right now, and then the company is worth 4.3 billion. Okay, there is a, they call it MNAV, but they basically put a premium on the amount of Bitcoin that they have. So the faster that they will accelerate this, the bigger this will get as well, right? I do believe that this position right here, because I have such a big position, about 100k worth, USD worth of it, right? This position could become 300k, for example, and that will only happen in a Bitcoin bull run, or I just have to wait about 3 to 4 years, because the next Bitcoin bull run, for example, is going to happen, and then yeah, the value of the holdings, the value of the Bitcoin will basically increase over time. This is basically the same playbook as MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy is basically the US equivalent. So I don't know whether you heard of Michael Saylor, but basically this guy, he stacked a lot of Bitcoin on his balance sheet, for example, and then right now they're at a $96 billion market cap. So they have about 70 billion or so in Bitcoin, and then they have a $90 billion in market cap. So this Japanese company right here is basically doing the same playbook, but in Japan. Okay, so that's basically the thesis why this happens, right? If I really do wait 3 to 4 years for this thing to come out, basically, then yeah, we pray to God, but it actually, I do believe it can 5 to 8x basically this position, and basically I put in 100k and then I get back 800k at the same time. Yeah, but like I could just be speaking bullshit, right? I have no idea what's gonna happen, but that's why we do investing, right? Like we place our bets on very specific companies and things, and then we put it out there to the world, and then we see whether it actually happens or not, right? Most of the time, yeah, you just have to basically be convicted into your positions. Okay, the only reason why I can tell you, like with a straight face, right, why I can hold, for example, this, like why I can hold Hims or Robinhood with such conviction, right, is because of the CEO. Okay, so maybe I'll go through my research process in another video also, but I'll tell you very briefly of why I generally hold certain things. Okay, or especially for a very long time. Okay, so for Robinhood, right, yeah, Robinhood's over here. Okay, the company or the CEO, like his name is Vlad. So I've watched so many interviews of this guy already, and then I track his social tracking. I track all of the things that he's been able to, or like the media that he puts out, right? So the tweets that he does, the LinkedIn posts that he does, the videos that he does, what does he say? Is he confident in the company? What is the direction of the company, etc., etc. And so like I built my conviction by really following these guys, because um everything you hear from a CEO, right, is coming from their mouth. They're in the management meetings, they know what's happening, right? So if they themselves are not confident of the business, right, I'm definitely going to sell, right? But if they say they're going to do something and then they really go and do it, and then you can clearly see in the numbers, you can clearly see from the earnings and the revenue, etc., over time, for example, right, you can see like this company has, okay, they missed their earnings here, but they beat. So they always have, like, they say they're going to do X amount of revenue, and then they go and beat that revenue, for example, right? It tells me that their plan is working, and yeah, they are true to their word, if that makes sense. They are true to their word. Let me just write that down for you. Okay, so that is one thing that I like seeing from a CEO. As long as the CEO has this type of attitude, I'm willing to hold my money there, because it's like this guy is working for me. I'm on the same team as him. Okay, that's how I think about things. All right. The other one that I can tell you about, for example, is Hims. Right, Hims. I also hold their a lot of their stock. Right, I go and do a lot of research on this guy, Andrew Dudum. Right, I follow his Twitter, I follow his LinkedIn. I see him on interviews, for example. I see what he posts, for example. This guy is a very honest guy, right? They had an issue or like controversy about with the Novo Nordisk and stuff like that, and so he has come out as well, and then he kind of tries to explain the situation to shareholders, to employees, to everybody, basically, right? And that's the type of CEO I want to put my money with, because I know I can trust him when shit goes bad, right? So if, I guess, another tip of advice for you guys, right, when shit goes bad and like you still can trust the guy, right? That's where I put my money. That's where I put my money, right? Because I know that, like this is just a scandal or whatever. But imagine it's like this guy is taking this company and putting my money to work, basically, right? in the bad times, in the good times, I want to see him being consistent, right? That is a very, very important character trait. And I would say, um, right, I don't know whether you're good at reading people, but like integrity is a very, very important part of investing, right? If the founder himself is not has integrity, then yeah, you're definitely going to lose money, right? It's not only about making money, it's like doing it the correct way, providing solutions to the marketplace, and then having integrity to your shareholders, to your customers, and serving them well, basically. Yeah. Okay, so yep, that is basically it. I think I've covered majority of my portfolio. Let me just check with you guys. And I've also showed you like exactly what the companies are of what I'm investing in, right? When you invest in companies, right, realize guys that like these are real products. People are selling real things here. There's real revenue being produced, right? So like you need to figure out like what exactly you're buying, and you need to find the conviction of what you're buying. And the only reason why you lose money, right, is because, for example, like if the stock goes down and you don't have conviction, for example, right, and then you sell it, that's how you lose money, right? But no matter what, for example, this company right here, right, I have gone up, gone down. I've basically gone all the way with them. But right throughout the journey, throughout the process, I've never sold basically, and the reason why I never sell is because my conviction in these three things basically is like very, very strong, very, very strong, right? Until I find um, a better company with a better CEO or a better business model with a better CEO, right? It's very hard for me to find a reason to sell this, because like if I sell it and I have all this cash, I don't know what to do with this cash. I'm just gonna have to buy something else, right? So that's how I think about things. I'm putting my money to work, and I'm making sure that the money that I'm putting it on is like I'm trying to bet on the correct horse per se. And yeah, these are basically the biggest horses that I bet on, right? But at the same time, um, you can see the proportion of the horses you bet on is also different. It's like I'm betting way more of my money here versus everyone here. It is not that these other companies are bad. It is not because of that. It's because I just have way more conviction, and there's way more upside for me. For example, a certainty of an outcome with these guys versus these guys right here. Yeah. Okay. And obviously, like yeah, we're able to make more money here at the same time. Yeah. All right. So hopefully this has been useful for you guys. I don't know whether it's been a useful video, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Yeah, if you want to, you can try out this software as well if you want. Yeah, I'll probably actually, yeah, let me just maybe go through the other stuff here, that the data in my portfolio, so you can see it for as well. Okay, by the way, if you see this, the reason why I see this is because I have the Japanese stock right here. So like this software does not support like non-US stocks, so that's why you're seeing this right here. But if you don't have non-US stocks, then it's totally fine. You should not have that problem. Okay, so just ignore this. Yep. Obviously, I'm not buying stocks for dividends because like it's a growth portfolio. Like we're trying to get to $10 million right here, and then the dividend growth rate right here. Like I don't really care, but there is dividends right here from these three companies right here. You can see almost it's like almost nothing, right? It's like 20 cents, like 80 cents. Like it's not gonna change your life. Okay, so these are the dividends right here. Um, let's see, metrics right here. There's the S&P, the gold, the Bitcoin, and stuff like that. So I believe you can track, yeah, you can kind of track your portfolio returns versus like an S&P, or like if I put a gold right here, um, yeah, you can track your portfolio returns versus the gold returns, right? So gold has been actually doing very well this year, FYI. You can see it's like almost 30%. You can see almost 30% throughout. But I don't know whether it's going to continue, because I don't understand gold fundamentally. But it's kind of interesting to see how like yeah, you can see like gold is very, very, very steady versus like my portfolio is much more volatile. It was like down, and then like gold like didn't even move basically, right? So it's just interesting to see stuff like this. Yep. Um, and then I think that this is the last tab, I believe. So this one is like my returns. This one tells me like how much of my stocks, which one actually like contributes like majority of the outcome, for example, right? So these are my unrealized gains. And then you can see here, yeah, my top contributor. Uh, okay, yeah, this one is here. Okay, so this one is only this year so far. So this year, for example, like this stock right here, HIMS has generated 132,000 in gains right here. Yeah. So how much of my portfolio's gains? Okay. Yeah. So you can see like 46% of my gains actually come from one stock. So like what it just tells me is that investing is a very 80-20 rule, whereas like minority of the stocks will generate majority of the returns, because you need concentration. If you don't concentrate, right, you won't get like 100k return if your portfolio size is very small. Also, that's why I realized that the big cap names, like I'm never gonna get like super rich. I'm never gonna get to 10 million, um, just based on big cap. If I just buy Google, for example, like if it moves 20%, yeah, it moves 20%, but it's not gonna move like 50%, 100%, right? Or it's not gonna move it like in 2 years, 3 years time, right? So that's why you can see the amount of gains that I have from here, they're just pales in comparison with the smaller guys, right? Then also majority of my gains, 35% of my gains actually, come from over here in Hood as well. So this year alone, 100k from Hood, from Robinhood. And then Bitcoin has been okay so far. I think it was up about 60 to 70,000 previously, but now it's only up 43,000. But it's okay. We're still up, and it's okay. Like Bitcoin is a very big asset. It's just almost as big as Google at this point in time. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah. AMD you can see here, fantastic as well. But I just have too little money in this thing, and so it won't change your life basically. Yeah. And then Elf Beauty, yeah, it's down a bit, but it's fine. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it from this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video so far. Let me know what other topics you would like me to cover and stuff like that. And then, yep, we just hope to see you in the next video as well. All right, see you.